Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi man wala. We'll start the first 5 to 6 minutes with the Tafsir, then we'll go to the Hadith, inshallah. So yesterday we talked about Istiaaza, seeking refuge with Allah from Satan before recitation of the Quran. And we mentioned some of the meanings. A'udhu billahi minash Shaytan rajim, what all this means. Then there's also أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم من همزه ونفخه ونفثه. Just to remind, hamz, the word hamz is to poke or to push. Nafkh means to blow. And nafth could mean to blow but softly. So scholars have differed on the meaning of these three words. What do they mean? Those are certain actions the Shaytan or Satan performs and attacks by these means, attacks the human heart to disturb this heart so as not to focus on the Quran and on anything that brings the one closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. So that's what he uses. Hams means to push or to poke. That could mean his evil whispering to urge the person, to push the person towards a certain action or to take him away from Allah Azza wa Jal. To urge him or to push him and motivate him to do something that would take him away from Allah. That could be the meaning of hams. They say nafth. Nafth, actually, nafth, some people said that it could mean a shi'r, or could mean a sihr, sorcery or witchcraft. That is one of the actions of Shaytan. But also, if you look at the hadith, in the Ruh al-Qudusi nafatha fi ru'i, anna nafsan lan tamut hatta tastakmila rizqaha ajlah. Nafth means to instill a certain belief or concept. Because there's another hadith in which Prophet ﷺ says that Jibreel did nafth, this word, he used the same wording, in my heart, nafatha fi ru'i. He used the same wording, nafatha, in my heart. But what kind of concept or belief did Jibreel put in the heart of the Prophet ﷺ? It's one of those correct beliefs in Allah. He says, أَنَّ نَفْسًا لَن تَمُوتَ حَتَّى تَسْتَكْمِلَ رِزْقَهَا أَجْلَهَا, that no one will die before fulfilling his time on earth and receiving all the rizq, the provision that Allah has set for him. So we can understand from it that the nafth of Shaytan is the exact opposite. The nafth of Shaytan means the Shaytan would put wrong beliefs in the heart of the person. So he hears Allah saying something and the Shaytan starts raising doubts against that thing that Allah has said in the Quran. That's why we say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم من الشيطان أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان من همزه ونفخه ونفثه before we recite the Quran, because we don't want our benefit from the Quran to be disturbed or diminished by those actions of Shaytan. The Quran will tell us wasjud waqtarib, prostrate and come closer. Shaytan could do the hams to push us away from the salah, do the exact opposite, right? Quran would tell us وَفِي السَّمَاءِ رِزْقُكُمْ وَمَا تُوعَدُونَ, that your rizq is set and written down in the heavens and it will come down to you as Allah has decreed. Shaitan would raise doubts against that. That would be the nafth of Shaitan. And nafkh, to blow, they say that this is to instill arrogance in the heart of the person so as not to submit to the will of Allah. Because what is the Quran but the will of Allah telling you to do or not to do, and talking to you as your master, telling you what you should believe, what you should not believe, what is right, what is wrong, and finally what you're supposed to be doing in this life, right? So this could explain the word, the nafkh and nafth and hams, okay? And then we start saying the basmala in the beginning of the Fatiha. Here, Imam al-Mawardi started with al-Fatiha and he mentioned certain things about al-Fatiha. He says, Hiya Makkiyya, we've just gone for 4 minutes, Makkiyya, that it is a Makki surah, definitely. Because it is the surah that we recite in every rak'ah. What were the Muslims using in their salah if it wasn't Makkiyah. I say this because a major scholar of Islam, of Tafsir, Mujahid, his name is Mujahid ibn Jabr, and he was one of the students of Ibn Abbas. He actually made a mistake here. He says it is Madaniyah. Despite being such an eminent scholar and one of the Tabi'een, still he could make a mistake. Definitely it's a mistake. It cannot be from Medina. This surah, it must have been revealed very early on. Actually, but it's not the first surah revealed. We know the first surah revealed is Iqra, correct? But then Surah Al-Fatiha probably is number 5 in Revelation. Probably number 5 in Revelation. So before the Salah was prescribed for the Muslims, Al-Fatiha was there. Fatiha was there. He says Al-Fatiha has certain names. There are certain names that are documented in the Sunnah. هي أم القرآن وفاتحة الكتاب وهي السبع المثاني. This is actually based on a hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah. This hadith is narrated by Imam al-Tirmidhi, Abu Dawood, al-Darimi, Imam Ahmad, and so on. That the Prophet ﷺ said, هي أم القرآن وهي فاتحة الكتاب وهي السبع المثاني. These are names for the Fatiha. Al-Quran, meaning the mother or the foundation of the book. The mother of the foundation. Means mother. But because it is a source, your mother is your source or your foundation, this is where you came from. Al-Quran, Fatihatul Kitab, the introduction or the beginning of the book, right? As-Sab'ul Mathani, the 7 oft repeated verses. As-Sab'ul Mathani. Because it's 7 verses and it is the most repeated surah of the Quran. If you pray, this is what you will be repeating the most. And also it's called Quran because it is the beginning. It is placed at the very beginning of the Quran, despite being a short surah. If you would have expected the Fatiha to be in the last and the end of the Quran, because you can see the longest surahs are at the beginning, then it gets shorter and shorter. But despite being one of the shorter surahs, it is placed in the beginning. I would like to mention also something else, that we are begin recitation of the Quran with Istiaaza, and the ending of the Quran is also Istiaaza. What is the last surah in the Quran? قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ. It's very important. So as if you're protecting, Allah is directing us, teaching us to protect our beliefs and iman from the shaitan at the beginning and at the end of the Quran. Now, just like Mecca is called Al-Qura, Al-Fatiha is called Al-Quran or Al-Kitab. Or Al-Quran. Because Al-Kitab is the Lawh al-Mahfuz. It's Al-Quran. Sab'al Mathani. Okay, these are the names of Fatiha. Then he will go on to talk about Al-Basmala. We will stop here with the tafsir.